Hello everyone, welcome back to my podcast. In the last podcast number 9, I started sharing with you my thoughts on the wonderful world of accountability. Today let's start by imagining a scenario. Imagine a new chief executive officer on taking charge of his organization is sitting with his leadership team and makes his first announcement. Henceforth, in our organization, people are going to be held accountable for their actions. What are the thoughts that cross your mind when you hear statements like, people are going to be held accountable? I'm sure a lot of you are going to resonate with statements, with thoughts like, blame is going to be apportioned for any mistake. There are going to be consequences for any lapses. And even heads may roll. Here, accountability, which is such a beautiful word, actually looks like a dirty word with punitive action waiting in the offings to come. Follow it. And it's almost like a veiled threat. And what happens when we human beings come under any kind of threat? Research has shown that our response to an emotional threat is similar to our response to a physical threat. We tend to step back. We tend to start guarding ourselves, start protecting ourselves, start closing down if any kind of threat comes to us, so that we can mitigate the impact of that threat. And all these actions are certainly contrary to what we want to build in an organization. A team which is thriving, a team which is participative. And here, we are doing something which makes the team to step back. Certainly not what we want. And as I started reflecting around this accountability, creating an accountability culture, I noticed that we often have a negative connotation around discomfort. And today I would like to explore with you what is that one big myth and misconception around accountability. And like for so many other things related to creating a good team culture, the starting point here is also the mindset of the leader, the approach of the leader. So if I ask you a question, that do you as leaders think that I am the leader and therefore it's my job to hold my team accountable? And if you think like that, hold on, you're not alone. Many of us think like that. But when we think like this, what happens to our relationship with our team? It becomes a relationship of a superior and an inferior, of a parent and a child. It's almost as if that as a leader, I am here in charge of things. My job is to keep you on track, and I will point out when you go off track. I will correct you for your mistakes. And now let me share a personal story. Transitioning from the armed forces career, where I was a commanding officer, and landing up as chief executive officer of a cement multinational, I brought with me years of experience, leadership experience in crisis, technology management. But I also brought in me an ingrained habit of hierarchical structure of Indian Armed Forces and a default mode of operation of command and compliance. So here I was as a CEO, leading my executive teams, but holding them accountable for what they are doing. I was almost in the initial days like the traffic inspector or a guard who raises a red flag when anything goes wrong. And I thought I was doing my job well. But soon, and sure enough, my executive committee started feeling threatened. They started feeling the pressure, and consequently, they started stepping back. They felt that I was not trusting them. They started keeping quiet. It didn't take me long to notice that wherein I wanted to create a culture of a thriving team, my team was retreating. A discussion with my manager, and I decided to embark on a journey with an executive coach. And that was a wonderful time where I had many realizations. But the one big realization relevant for today, one big insight relevant for today's topic is that I soon realized that as a leader, it's not my job to hold my team accountable, but my job is to create a culture where my team owns up things, takes accountability on their own. And I started practicing it. And soon my relationship with my executive committee changed. It changed to one of trust and confidence in each other. It changed to respecting others' autonomy. It became a peer-to-peer relationship. And obviously, the business thrived and we created a culture where everybody felt empowered and could raise his voice. So in conclusion, I would like to share with you that for a leader, the accountability certainly does not mean whom to blame, identify the blame person who's to be blamed and punish. But rather, it's about creating a culture where people feel empowered to take actions, where they feel that they are trusted enough, and it's certainly not about micromanagement. And I want to leave you all with this thought that next time when you're reflecting on creating an accountability culture in your teams, please think, are you really creating a culture where people feel empowered, or are you inadvertently creating a culture where fear and defensiveness is ruling? In the upcoming episodes with you, I'm going to share with you some of the actions, some of the leadership traits that leaders should imbibe to create an accountability culture. Till then, bye-bye, and make sure that your teams start thriving, start growing, and create a culture of empowerment. Bye.